Hello, folks. My name is Gary Lee. I'm from Cork in Ireland. I'm a 64-year-old retired doctor. I posted something on Bob's Butter Makes Your Pants Fall Off website on Facebook, and he wanted to hear my Irish accent and my life story as regards diet, etc. So here goes, Bob. Bob, you should be able to understand me because I have one of the Irish accents which is most comprehensible. And in fact, where I'm from, people are often taken as Americans or Canadians. Anyway, I'm 64. My father was fat all his life, except that he was a very good footballer when he was young and athlete. His mother had diabetes type 2, which was unusual at that time, and his brother had it. And all of the family were fat, but his father was thin. Now, my dad, I can never remember him thin. Um, my mother's family were also inclined to be heavy, but not quite as much, and diabetes didn't surface there. But from the age of about 20, I've been inclined to put on weight. When I was 23, I got married and I had to lose a stone to fit into a suit which I had bought a couple of months earlier. So I got married at 13 stone 4, which is about 186 pounds. I subsequently put on weight and struggled with it for years and years, hovering around 15 stone 12. At one stage, I went on a severe diet and I lost 42 pounds, only to put it all back on within a year, which is a common story. Then I decided I would take up exercise and I got very fit, but I didn't lose an ounce of weight. So I went on a diet as well and starved it off. And I managed to keep that off for several years until I developed chronic Achilles tendonitis. And then I put on my 2 stone. I was back up at the 15 stone 12. Periodically, I maintained the cycling and I would go on difficult bike tours with friends. And the only way I could lose weight was to do a 100-mile spin once a week as part of my training. I found that when I did this, I lost 2 pounds a week, but that is a prodigious amount of exercise with very little reward. I never again got below 14 stone, which is 196 pounds, until relatively recently, and I'll come to that. Um, I tried all kinds of different things, low fat diet, etc. And I did try the Atkins diet about 3 or 4 years ago for 2 weeks. But I didn't appreciate that when you do the Atkins diet, you have to put a bit of an effort into it. And I was eating very, very little in variety, and I found it very boring. So I quit it. But I did lose about 10 pounds in the 2 weeks. So in July 2012, I decided I was going to give up sugar. I had been reading John Yudkin's book, Pure, White and Deadly, and I decided I would give up sugar. Now, John Yudkin didn't place much emphasis on starch. He thought that starch was relatively benign. But I gave up the sugar. I was really careful about it. I starved myself and I lost a pound a week for 20 weeks. And a year later, this was beginning to creep up again. And eventually, last Christmas, I said, okay, I'm going to find out more about the Atkins diet. So I found Tim Noakes' book online called Real Meals Revolution, which is really good because the first half of it is a simplification of the science, ideal for the layman as well as the doctor. And the second part then is full of suggestions as to what you should eat and recipes, etc. I started that on New Year's Day and I picked randomly out of my head 50 grams of carbs a day, and I've stuck at that ever since. I didn't lose any weight for the first 2 weeks, but I hadn't cut out milk, so I cut out milk and started putting cream in my coffee, and then I started to lose weight. Then I was scheduled to do a big bike tour in England, which is Land's End to John O'Groats. It's 1100 miles, 16 days, extremely hilly. I had done it before at a much heavier weight. When I started in England, I was 12 stone, I was 13 stone 9, I think, and I couldn't get what I required for my 50 grams a day that would be suitable in England. England is very, very primitive with regards to availability of things such as flaxseed, etc., which are readily available in Ireland. So I was only eating 30 grams a day. And when I came home, I'd found that despite the fact that I was eating an awful lot of cheese and chorizo, etc., that I'd lost 8 or 9 pounds. So I was down to 12 stone 13, 182 pounds ish, around that weight. And I've been that weight since, which is almost 3 months later. I've maintained the 50 grams a day. I seldom go above it. I might occasionally go up as far as 70 grams for a particular reason. Then the next day I'll eat less. That's what I've done. I don't know if it's necessary or not. I'll just pause that there.